Good evening, everybody. I'm checking my Facebook page like we do every week. Welcome to Scotty Talks About, and I'm checking to see if the video is live. And if it is, and we are live, we're up and running. So, hi, Rick Hayes. Rick Hayes is with me tonight. Oh my God! I got to turn down the volume, otherwise we're gonna get that way. I can also check all this stuff. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Sharon Porter's with us. Hi, Sharon. Welcome everybody to Scotty Talks. Tonight, Scotty's talking with his brother, Rick Hayes. My older brother. We found out how old we are today.
Younger brother, say younger brother.
At least you're the prettier brother, not like Keith Hayes, who's our uglier brother.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We love him, though. We love him.
We do love him, but he's ugly.
It's great to be with you tonight. We were just talking before we went on air that I guess we hadn't seen each other since late last year in Cincinnati, I guess.
Right.
And so it's great to see you again, my friend.
I know it is. It's wonderful. And yeah, I created this show so I could just sit there and talk with my friends. And it's taken off and it's really great. That's why I call it Scotty Talks About, because we could just talk about anything. We just talk and just have a good time. So it's not really an interview. It's just us jabbering and having a good time and answering questions from people on Facebook. And hi, Amy, welcome. And Greg's with us. So a bunch of people are hopping in already. So welcome, everybody.
Do you think, Scotty, we'll get any questions? You all don't know if you've ever heard these before. Do you see anyone around me?
Yeah, we don't do readings. That's the one thing. Rick Hayes and I are everybody knows that I'm now professional and doing this full time. And Rick's been doing this for what, over 20 years?
20 years now. Yeah, it's 20 years this March, and I can't believe it. I mean,
so we
feels
do
like two.
We do readings for our living. That's what we do. So that's pretty cool. So Rick, why don't you give everybody a little bit about you and who you are? And Jenny Davis says hi. She's there.
Hi, Jenny.
And Jackie Mossberg Hicks. Hi.
Hi, Jackie.
Yeah, everybody's joining in right now, so we got a great room.
Good.
So,
well, I am
who you are, Rick Hayes, for Christ's sake.
I'm the brother of Scotty Rorek.
Yes.
We're brothers from different mothers, I guess you would say. So, but no, as you mentioned, we was talking about this. It's been 20 years now. I've been out in the public. You know, it took me all my life to get to a position in my life where I've had these abilities since birth, and you know, I didn't talk about them with anyone because I didn't want everybody to think I was crazy or something's wrong with me. So I went through my life, my adulthood, just at the time trying to be normal, and I now know that I've always been normal. These abilities we all are given. I guess about 22 years ago, I had an experience in my life that, in so many words, I was told I was being selfish because I was given something I could be helping others with. And so it's been 20 years now, and it's been phenomenal 20 years. I mean, you know this, but the greatest thing for me, besides the TV, besides the books, besides all the traveling and events and things we do, the most incredible thing for me, and I think about this daily, is literally the thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals all over the world that I got to meet and we call friends. And if it wasn't for these abilities and getting to meet everyone through these abilities, I would have never met them in my life. So I'm very thankful that this has given me the opportunity to meet a lot of great people in this world.
Yeah,
we do have a great world. I know all this crazy stuff's going on right now, but we do have a great world.
We really do. And we have a lot of great friends, like Dana Stricker's in the chat room. She says hi. Corinne says hi.
Hi, Corinne.
Karen says hi. And Jenny says, what is the secret for us looking so young? Just we're great looking guys.
It's
but you know, the one thing, yeah, there you go. I have my water from Walmart. So I expect my paycheck, Walmart.
I have ginger ale, by the way. It's not anything alcoholic tonight, so we're good.
It's all right. So
people ask me, Scotty, they say, you know, do you drink? I have a glass of wine. I've got a wine cooler and everything, but I have a glass of wine every once in a while. And you probably say the same thing. We start drinking spirits, we really start seeing spirits.
Right.
So, you know.
mean, that was one of the reasons I stopped all those years ago. By the way, the 4th of July will be 33 years since I had a drink.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited. I got my my little countdown app, and it tells me I've been sober for almost 33 years. I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I just want to go back to the point that you were saying is the thing I always liked about you, and is how humble you are and how you never let your successes, your failures, or anything define you. You've always been just the nicest guy, and that's what I took the most from you as a friend is the fact that it is about meeting the people. It is about the relationships that we have with everybody. It is about helping people. It really is. It's not about us becoming famous. That's not what it's about. But the more famous, if we're doing shows or movies or anything like that, it's for us to help get our message out.
Exactly.
It's not for us to become, oh, my ego's there. That's not what it's about. But we want to get our message out, and I want to get my message out for Psychics Unite. That's one thing that, you've seen me do for now a few years, and it's growing great. We got some great groups. We're going to add like 2 or 3 more, right, Jackie Mossberg Hicks? Huh? Fort Wayne. But you know what I mean? And that's the one thing that I've always loved about you is how, we joke around, we tease each other, we call each other names, but it's all because of love. It's all because, for what we do. And that's just amazing.
It's love and respect, Scotty. I totally respect you. And, in this business, we've seen them come and go. We've seen those who got in this business and this with their abilities for the wrong reasons. Right. And they wanted that celebrity status, and they forgot how to be humble and began becoming egotistical. And really, when you're on the right path and you're doing those kind of things, you're not going to be here around long. And we've seen that. But we've also seen, I remember the first time I met you, was it last month?
Yeah. Let's say that. Yeah.
I don't know if we was filming together or where I met you exactly, but I remember when the first time I met you, I mean, we gave a smile to each other like we've known each other for years. We had that connection. And I think a lot of that is because we have respect for one another, and immediately we felt that friendship, and we felt that, I knew you were genuine, and I knew that you were real, and I knew that that you were in this for a reason, and the reason was to help others. And I felt you felt the same way with me, and that's why we've had this friendship we've had all these years.
I agree with you. I mean, we clicked from the moment we met, and what the neat thing is about with you and me is it's never about I'm better than you, I got more readings than you, I'm not, or this. It's about how can I help you. Even we were talking off before air, before we came on here, and you were telling me about stuff that you're helping me offer and giving me ideas, and that's just incredible, because most people go, no, that's mine, and that's but they, how many paranormal groups are like that? How many paranormal groups go, that's my haunted house, you can't come in if we won't let you. It's just, that drives me nuts. It's just like, why doesn't everybody just work together and show mutual respect and love? It's not paranormal unity, because that's what people talk about. That's not what it's about, because everybody needs to be themselves. Everybody brings something special to everything, and all my students that I teach my mediumship to, I tell them about, I say to them, I don't want you in the end to be a Scotty Rorek, because you can't. I don't want you to be that person. I don't want you to be that soul. It just can't be that. I want you to be you, because you are amazing.
I totally agree with that. That's, and being in this business for 20 years now, I've had others that I've kind of want to say mentor with their abilities and help them with their abilities. But that's one of the first things I shared, just like you shared. I share that you don't want to be Rick Hayes, you don't want to be John Edwards, you don't want to be Teresa Caputo, you don't want to be Scotty Rorek. You be you, because if you try to be someone else, you're not going to find your true strength and what your true abilities are. So you just be you. And I try to dress as good as Scotty Rorek sometimes. I mean, I see him in places sometimes. He's got these really nice attire on, and it's like I feel like I need to leave and go change or something, when I see him. So
the last time I saw Rick was, man, I got to turn this off. My nose is like itching tonight. I'm like, what the heck? Not COVID, by the way, so don't worry about that. It's just an itchy nose tonight. I'm like, what the heck is it?
Well, I'm glad your nose is itching.
Instead of something else, for But so that, what was it? I didn't even know where I was going with that. Oh yeah. So last time I was there, so Rick Hayes left and he went, like, I think he had to do your lecture. So I went over to his booth and I sat in his booth for him. And people were coming up and go, "Are you Rick Hayes?" Yes. And then I made Rick stand up and we go, "Well, the real Rick Hayes, please."
Yeah, the real Rick Hayes. Yeah, I remember that.
That was at Keith's event in Mid-South. Yeah. That was
go ahead.
No, I said, that's cute. You know what we're doing? I'm doing Match Game right here on the Zoom show in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna do the Paranormal Match Game.
For those of you who've never seen the Match Game, you got to watch it because you've asked me, I think every time you've had an event, you've asked me, it's like I wasn't able to.
I know.
So I'm making a commitment to you that I'm going to be on a Match Game. It's somewhere, sometime, someplace.
Okay, good. That's exciting.
Yeah,
I've been putting it on my website as things that people can book me for. So I mean, because it's a good show, it's a fun show. But we're going to do a version on here, and our contestants. When I put it on Facebook, our contestants were out like in like 10 minutes. I was filled. I was just like, I even did 2 extra ones, which I don't normally do. So we're going to do a little longer one. But I have Scott Tepperman, Jim O'Rear, Rosalind Bowen's going to be there, or her new name. I've always messed it up. Tim Miley, Robbie Thomas, and Scott Grunwald.
Wow, you got a great panel there.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun show. So,
and when is this?
2 weeks tonight at 7:00. So during this normal time. So we're gonna have the big panels right up in here, in the Zoom, and then the contestants will wait in the outside in the room, and then they'll come in, for their aspects, and then they'll go back out, so I gotta get it all figured out and make sure Zoom works great, but that should be good. So yeah, everybody's talking about the Match Game. Cool, man. So, but yeah, no, I'm so excited to be doing this full time like you, and I know I've met so many cool people already. I got some great students. It's just been, it's a great time, and it makes me humble. It makes me, every day when I'm done, I'm like, oh wow, I really helped somebody today.
And Scotty, wouldn't you agree that, being a psychic medium, everybody knows you do private consultations, and I call them private consultations, and I call them connections consultations. But it's also, it seems like along the path that we're kind of, after a certain amount of time, we're kind of told in a way that we need to be teaching as well, not just giving the messages, but teaching as well. And we talked about your workshops and your classes, and I was sharing with you, I was kind of placed into a position where I was kind of told that I need to begin life coaching. So about 6 years ago, I learned from the top life coaches and learned from them and studied from them. And then I created my own program. And we was talking now, that is now where I've been doing private consultations with those. But now we're actually building an online course as well. But it's all about teaching. And it's like, it's a part of all this. It isn't for us to just, and for some it will, if they're in this industry, there's some that may be all that they are to do, just to give the messages. But for me, it was like, it's not just sharing the messages and doing the lectures, but also teach as well. So that's why, just like with you, with your classes, I felt teaching something very important for us to be doing. So
that's what's so funny, because I just started taking my life coaching courses.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I can tell you one that the best you can get into is Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Tony Robbins is absolutely amazing. I learned him and boy, I'm sorry, I forgot his name. He's
you're old.
Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, he's on Dr. Phil a lot, and I studied with him as well. But Tony is just, and here, I didn't know this. but I was, and I may be wrong on this because you know us psychic mediums are never 100% accurate. You remember that?
Right. Yeah.
So, but I believe I heard where Tony was the one who created or came up with life coaching, the word life coaching.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But he didn't take a course. He didn't get certification. He didn't do any of that. He did everything on his own by his own experiences in life as well. So, but that's one I'd recommend to look into as well.
Yeah, it's exciting. So, all right. So what do you think? So the way we've been talking about the last few weeks, and we kind of get on this topic. What do you think is the one thing that everybody's overdoing right now?
Worrying.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean, in the spiritual fields, what are they? Where's the disconnect happening? Or, and I always bring up demonology, but we'll get into that.
I don't believe it's so much a disconnect spiritually. If anything, and I shared this with someone the other night, I really feel like it's what we're doing right now is a good flushing out. I feel like we need a good flushing out, and that's what's going on right now. We're releasing all these things that is actually holding us back, and I feel like we're just getting a good flushing out, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And I feel spiritually, it's actually, and I said this before the year began, that I felt like the spiritual side of life, we're going to see a growth in this year, and we're going to see where people are going to be more open, not just the traditional religious views, but they're going to be more open with this, what we do and the things like that. And I think we've been seeing that. And I think what's going on right now with the earth and the country and the world, that it is actually a kind of a benefit, because once we get through all this, individuals are going to be drained, and they're going to say, we need something to believe in again.
Right.
And believe is a good word,
I know. That's your catchphrase.
Yeah, that's my tagline. So, but that's how I feel. I feel like that everything's going on spiritually. We talked before this show. I haven't seen where it's really affected this industry so much. It's affected us in the way that we've had to reschedule events and make changes.
We've got to learn how to do things a little different.
And we're doing it logically. We're thinking of the health of others. So, but I don't feel like it's affected spirituality at all. If anything, I feel like it's elevated it.
Right. So I don't claim to be, what was that guy's name that always predicted the future?
Nostradamus.
Yeah, that's the guy. I don't predict to be him, but
he was my neighbor.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
I knew you were old, but I didn't.
I know.
Anyway, when we first started these shows, and we were talking about it earlier, and I know I talked about it at Psychics Tonight too, was I had the vision that the world was going to shut down. So I did see the COVID coming. I did see the shedding of the earth, and then I asked Spirit when it's going to open. It says, we don't have the future planned yet. We have to wait to see. And I didn't see the Black Lives Matters come. I didn't see that at all. But it just made sense in the same thing that I was seeing, that because I knew that when we got through with all this, is that we would be more into the oneness. We would be more to the spiritual life. We started moving higher as a society, as a world. And that's what I really see that's happening right now, is I see that we're all moving higher. And yes, we all have to become even. We have to lift the people that aren't being treated correctly, like the Black Lives. We have to lift them so they can equal everybody else. Mm-hmm. And then once we do, then we're going to come at it from a place of the oneness, of love. And I think that's very exciting for me to see. And that ties into what you said. That's what the spiritual side is going to be. They're all going to look for something, and I don't think it's religion anymore. I really don't. I think, I said it on here that a cult plus time equals religion. But you know what I mean? Because religion in itself is too defined. It's too narrow in its thing. You have to believe the way we have to believe, or you're out. you know, because you don't read like me and you don't believe exactly like me, but we're best friends. You
Right.
know what I mean? And that's what spiritual people do. You know, we love each other for what their gifts are. We love each other for what they bring to the table. We don't love people just because they match us.
Right. Exactly. And I totally agree with you on that. I just, um, and others have asked me, they said, you know, what do you think about, they ask me constantly, what do you think about what's going on right now? And it's, and, you know, and you asked me at the very beginning what I feel. And I said, what people are doing the most, and it's worry. Um, you probably are the same way. I don't watch the media. I'm in media, but I don't watch the media. I don't get up in the morning and watch news. I don't do that. Instead I get up and I think about the positive things we have. And then the one thing people ask me what we can do through this time, I think what you can do is, if you want to think of one negative thing that's going on right now, immediately think of two positive things that's going on right now. And so, you know, you're giving the positive, you're kind of giving the positive an advantage over the negative at the time. And I've always felt this way, Scotty. All my life I felt this way. You know, when it comes to different colors in this world, you cut us open, and guess what? We're all the same color, and you know, we all have the same heart. And
right.
So you know, so I do feel
we're all looking for a good life. We're all looking
yeah.
for happiness. We're all looking for love. You know, that's what we're all looking for, and we forget that.
Yeah, and you do. I do feel that if you need to take a stand for something and you truly feel that way, then you know, by all means express it. Don't express it in a negative way, though. Don't go out there and, you know, tear up someone else's business and things like that, because that's not doing anything. But at the same time, you take a stand. I mean, I've been known to be pretty blunt when I'm sharing messages and saying what I feel, and it's like, that's the way it is. And so you don't have to accept it. You don't have to agree with me, but let's do it in a way where we respect each other. And I think that's the other thing that's going on right now. I really feel like we are regenerating respect, and we're going through it. We're taking it down the wrong road to do it, but it's going to end up where we're going to have more respect for each other.
Yep, I agree. And you know, we were just talking about today with one of my students. I would say, and I told her, I said, you know, it's not that we shouldn't take a stand as people. We need to let people know where we stand and where we do it. But let's put our stands in a place of love. Let's put our messages out of love. Instead of hating somebody for their thing, let's love somebody for their beliefs. Let's love them and understand where they're coming from, and give them love so that they can be stronger in what they want to have happen in their lives. You know, so that's the difference. You know, right now it's like, well, I'm not your friend. You can't be my friend on Facebook. You can't be my friend here. You know, it gets to that crap every day. You know, if you like this person, then you can't be on my page, blah blah blah. But it's, instead of that, it's like, why don't you give them love? What are they searching because they like that person? You know, I mean, what are they needing in their life? Or, you know, what does that person, you know, where in their life is the need? And let's help them find that need and nourish that, and allow them to be the positive beings that they're supposed to be.
Absolutely. That's why we're friends. We kind of agree with each other.
Yeah, we do. And if you don't, Rick Hayes, you're off the show.
All right, I'm leaving. And by the way, I just looked at my screen. I am flying out to Tampa in the morning or tomorrow afternoon or sometime. It looks like I'm red over half the suntan. It must be my lighting. So let everyone know I'm not already sunburned or anything. It's just my lighting right now. So, but yeah, and we was talking about really sweet, nice people. And I want to take this moment to say hi to your beautiful wife. She's a great person, and say hi to her.
Okay, she's back there saying hi. That's funny. But yeah, so I mean, so we just need to be of love. And I've been talking that for a couple of years. You know, I did ayahuasca a few years ago, and that's the one thing that taught me. You know, it taught me how to be a better reader. It taught me how to get rid of my ego. it was it's a pretty guided journey, uh, on their medicine, because it really teaches you. But that was the thing, was they showed me that we're not really what we are, and we're not really in control. Spirit is, the
Yeah.
world is one, and we're here just to help. We're here to be a part of it, and be part of love. And the second night, I took it for 2 nights, and the second night they showed me what ultimate love was. And ever since then, I think that's almost 4 years ago, but all my pages and everything, I don't like people's pages anymore on Facebook. I love them. I
Yeah.
love everybody's thoughts, because that's our care. They have the care, and I like that too.
Yeah, I like when I get a heart from you.
I give you my hearts.
I know.
But that's what it's about. I mean, it's about I'm going to be the light that I want other people to be, and hopefully people see that and understand that, and maybe they can be a little bit better in their lives. And don't, because I always say there's two things in life that piss people off, and it's the person themselves doing it. It's them putting expectations on others. There's only two reasons people get pissed off. One is because you didn't do what I wanted you to do, or you did something I didn't want you to do. That's it. That's your expectations. And if you don't have those expectations, then you won't ever get pissed off.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I totally agree with that. I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
I know it's your show, but I'm going to ask you a question, Scotty.
Please do. I like that.
One of the things that, you, what I call connect with those in spirit or spirit. Mm-hmm. I find in this industry that a lot of those that are, and I'm sorry, but I got to use the word genuine here. Mm-hmm. We all have some similarities, but we have some differences. Right. And the similarities are very powerful. I mean, they're very powerful in how we're similar, but there's some similar differences. And I guess my question I've always wanted to ask you is, how do you connect with those in spirit, or how do you connect spirit? And do you see them, hear them, feel them? Tell me about that.
I guess, okay, in time has changed. When I was a kid, I could see. That was my biggest thing. I could see, back in the 60s, when we both started seeing ghosts, and yeah. It was I could see them. They would come down.
I was 50 years old. No.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Nostradamus were still neighbors. Yeah. But so I would see the spirits come down, and then we would sit on my bed and we would talk. So I've always been able to hear. But I always thought my main gift was being able to see the spirits. And now it's become so, okay. So when I first started doing my readings, it was, I would listen to spirit, I would then give it the message across. And I think a lot of people do it that way when they first start. But now I don't even listen anymore. It's almost like they channel through me.
Okay.
Because I let them use my voice, and I let them, and my voice and timbre changes. And a lot of people that get readings from me say, that sounds just like my dad, or that sounds just like mom, that's even the inflection that they would put on. And so, and I find that that's why my readings go faster, because I don't have to listen and translate anymore. That's why.
So do you feel they've actually entered your body like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost, or?
No, not that level, okay. But I allow them to use this part of me.
Okay.
Let them use this and this. I don't let them come all the way in. But I think the biggest thing is my spirit guide, Steve. I think that my trust in spirit is probably one of my biggest things that changed through my life. And I trust Steve to guide me and to let only the right people in. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about, okay, is this a lower energy? Is this a higher energy? Is this, Steve's got that for me. So he's taking care of it. I just sit back and I let them go. I give my space. So I'm more of a radio than anything. You know what I mean?
Okay. Do you use it? Have you ever used any kind of tools like tarot cards?
No, I've never used tarot cards. When I first started, I used to use dowsing rods.
Oh, okay.
And pendulums, because, but like I say, for all my students that are watching, those are just validation tools for you.
Yes.
They're not for the person sitting there. They're not for the reading, the person that's sitting across from me. They're just for you because you don't trust yourself enough to give the right message. And so that's the thing. So I used them first. And I remember my first reading ever that I did professionally, that I got paid for. And my dad's on the other side, so he spends a lot of time with me. And I'm starting giving this reading. I'm like, going, oh, I'm getting chest pains and some cancer here. And I start going into, I feel, and I look at, I go, Dad, step aside. I said, I had to apologize to the people I'm reading for. I'll give you more time because my dad just died. I'm reading my dad, not, so. But yeah, in time it's changed because, in the past I would have to listen. And I understand that with the young mediums that's the way it starts. I think that's the way everybody hears it. You just kind of get the feeling. But now it's a clear knowing. It's just evolved so much for me because it's just such a part of me now that it's hard to even explain. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I completely understand.
When I first started, it was blah 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 blah. Okay, what was that? Blah 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 blah. And then the reading.
Yeah.
Not that way anymore. It's just let's go. And then I guess the other big thing that changed was my trust in spirit. I trust in Steve, but I also trust that spirit was going to give me the right message. Because I remember in the old days, it took me a while to get ready to do like shows or movies or events or TV that I was doing. I always had to prepare, and now I just walk up to somebody, do a reading. Yeah. It just it's different because it's the level of trust that I have in spirit.
So when you say your spirit guide, Steve,
yeah,
when did you first recognize him or
him? I recognized Steve not that long ago. I mean, it was only 15, 16 years ago. It was a relatively short time in my life, even though I heard spirit all my life, but I was ready. And then I had Derek Akora on my radio show, and, the second medium from London who is now passed. But I had Derek on my radio show, and he was the one that told me that, and he knew of Steve, because he had Sam as his spirit guide. Mm-hmm. And so Derek said to me that day, he says, Scotty, you're going to be on movies, you're going to be on TV, you're going to be doing gallery readings, everything I'm doing today and I've done, he told me I was going to do on my radio show.
Yeah.
And I've talked to him, just a few months before he died, because I want to start writing a book, and he was like one of my main mentors, and I wanted to make sure that it was okay to use him in the book. And he wrote back on Facebook, and I just talked to Gwen and gave her, his wife, and gave her my apologies and my sympathies. And but he showed me that but spirit guides don't come unless you're ready, because otherwise it's something that they're there, like your guardian angel. They're there to help and watch you, and you understand. But once I started doing readings, he had to be there. He had to be in my life. He had to be a part of the team. And I teach all my students about the team. We build their team.
Yeah.
Spirit animals, we build the guides that are with them. Some guides come and go, but the one spirit guide is always with you from the time you were conceived to the time you die. And but yeah, Steve is a big part. But yeah, like I said, it's only been 15 years or so. And we've done some past lives, and now I know that I was his wife in a previous life, and that's why he chose to come back in this, or he chose to be my spirit guide in this one, because we still love each other that much, and he's willing to stay there and protect me and guide me and teach me. And
I bet you were an excellent wife, Scotty.
I am. I'm a damn good cook. I got great legs.
Well, when we're together at different events, we have maybe a few minutes just to say hi to each other, give each other a hug. We don't really get to talk a lot together. But that's one thing I watch you sometimes in galleries, and you're like me. It's sometimes it gets emotional. You come out of there with tears like I do, but they're good tears. I always share when when you're crying, when you're shedding tears, it's showing how much you care and love. And so, but I noticed with you when I just noticed that you and I have a lot of similarities, but there's a lot of differences as well. But the outcome is the same. We're there to bring validation and acknowledgement of there's more than just life here. And, we both have been doing that, and we're going to continue. Someone asked me the other day, they said, first of all, they said, Rick, because they know my age, they said, are you going to be retiring soon? And before I had a chance to finish, they said, you better not, and I said, you know what? To me, retirement is whenever you say, I'm tired and I'm done with my work. Right. I'm done with working for this company. And I said, I don't feel I'm tired at the end of the day because it takes a lot out of you physically. But I told him, but I'll never retire because I love what I do. And when you love what you're doing, you never retire. I even told him, I said, when I transition, I'm not going to retire. I'm still going to be around telling everybody, things. So
I tell all my students I'm coming back to haunt them.
Exactly. Let's do it together, Scotty.
I will.
I'll be there.
That's why I've always wanted to do a gallery with you because to me, I do a show, I call it Spirit Connections. Mm-hmm. And I do it with other mediums, and I have up to 6 people on stage, all 6 different mediums.
Wow.
And the cool thing about it is it's not one of us doing a reading and then moving on to the next person doing a reading. It's all 6 of us doing one reading.
Yeah.
And then, then you get to see from that how all 6 do different. How I read different. I do a lot of humor and a lot of, emotional stuff. And then this one does it very straightforward and everybody does it different. And that to me is the most remarkable thing. And that's what I love seeing is everybody doing and bringing their gifts. And then for an audience to see that all of a sudden they're talking to the same spirits, but look at how much bigger the range of messages and validations are.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good. So the same question back to you then. So how do you read?
Well, it's been this way all my life, and it hasn't changed for me. I see, hear, feel, and acknowledge them. I see them in different ways. I share the most common way I see them when I have a presence with me. I will see an elongated light, very colorful in the center of different lengths. I sometimes I'll see them in a shadow form. Okay. Sometimes I'll see them in what they look like when they were in the physical body, because I see that a lot for locations where I need to learn from them what happened there, what the reason they were there. Mm-hmm. So I hear them. I've been sharing this. I hear them in a way that they're no longer in the physical body, and I do connect a lot with family connections because they're the ones who care about you and love you. They're going to be around you. One of them I had today, though, we didn't expect it, but we had someone come to visit with us that they were friends like 20 some years ago. And it's like, oh, she's saying hi to me. And I said, she's still your friend, So, but the way I hear them, they're no longer speaking with this voice because they're not in the physical body. I call it an energy of thought through communication. And it is a thought energy because thought is communication as well. And I use analogy. If you're sitting at home and you're watching TV and you think, okay, when the commercial comes on, I'm going to call Scotty and see what he's up to. And all of a sudden, just as soon as I think that, the phone rings, and I look down, there's Scotty on the ID. Well, we look at that as coincidence, but it really isn't, because your thought was communication. My thought was communication to you, and you picked up on it, even though you may not known it, and you thought, I'll give Rick a call. So that's how we communicate. And then I feel their energy as well. And then all these things comes down to that they want to be acknowledged, and they want me to share the messages with those loved ones here. And so they're doing whatever they can to help me. Now you mentioned your guide. Mm-hmm. I don't say this out in public. I do have one. I've had one all my life. I just call him my overseer. He has came more for me when I need guidance from the next from that part of life. And I also, he's a part of the council. And I know that sounds really mystical and all that, but it really isn't.
It's not. I just call him a team.
That's it. That's it.
Same principle.
And see, there's
different word.
There's the similarities right there that you'll find. A lot of us in this industry with these titles that we have those type of similarities. You know, we have, you have worked with the one that you have because he says, I'm going to work with you, where mine is more of whenever you need me personally, I'm going to be here for you. And so, but we still have the same similarities just in that situation. Even the way we pick up and the way we communicate is similar. It sounds different, but it's really similar.
It's really same. You know, and that's the other thing. So Steve also helps my students. You know, he'll go to students in the meditation if they're not getting anything, or he'll go in and say, yes, you can do this. He'll give them, you know, because he's watching everybody, because he cares for everybody because as much as I do. And so he'll go in and help, you know, people. So my dad. My dad's been, you know, my dad would never have believed this when he was alive. And he's told a lot of mediums that he goes, I always thought that Scotty was crazy. He thought he didn't understand it. You know, it was the farthest thing from his brain. You know what I mean? And now he loves it so much, that's why he's with me all the time. And I know when I was at a spiritualist church and we were doing, you know, we're teaching mediums, young mediums how to read, he would come up if they were struggling. He'd go right up real quick and he'd jump in and they go, oh, Scotty, your dad's here. Okay. I was like, yeah, I know. And I know what he's already going to tell me because he told me. So that way, you know, so it's kind of funny that way. But yeah, so it's our team. Our team's there to help us. Our team's there to help, you know, to make sure that, you know, and we all need the validation, you know, even, you know, we've been doing it for all these years. We need that validation too. We need to make sure that our messages are correct.
Absolutely.
Because we care and we don't want to give wrong messages. But like I always teach everybody, you won't give a wrong message if you trust.
That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So I want to ask you another question. You go to different locations. Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy working with investigation teams? Do you enjoy more of working the location yourself and bringing in teams later?
You know, those are great. That's a great question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. So, hey, Rick Hayes talk.
It's a Rick Hayes original.
I love it. Okay, everything, both of that's super different. And that's also, like I say, readings are super different. Mm-hmm. You know, if people go, oh, I want to do gallery readings. Do you? Really? Because that's a different ball game.
Yeah.
It's a completely different ball game, because gallery readings, not only do you have to give quick messages, you also have to entertain, because it's still a show. You know, it's not just all night about, you know, giving sad messages all night, making the audience cry, which I tend to do, but you know what I mean? But you got to, I lighten it up. I tell jokes. I do other things, you know. So galleries are very different than giving readings. You know what I mean? Because the energies are different, and you really have to trust when you get into that. Yeah. And that's the same thing because, you know, the people that have been watching this show for a while, I define spirit and ghost two different ways. I define spirit as someone that's crossed over, somebody that's all the way out of here. It's out of the realm of earth and comes back to talk with us. So that's what I call spirit. A ghost, I talk about the ones that passed but don't go all the way over. They're like, you're stuck here on earth. So to me, unfortunately, that energy is different than the love that the spirit gives. You know, you talked about the families that come in. You know, I do too. Whenever anyone's on the person's left side, it's from the mom side of the family. So when I see somebody standing with you on your left side, I'll know that's your mom's side of the family. Right side is your dad's side of the family. So I see that. So it gives me quick reference. So I can just go, okay, did I get a lady from your mom's side? This is your mom. Yes. You know, so I know right away what side, you know. But ghosts are a different being. Ghosts are a different thing. So I do like working with ghosts because I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable with them. And I want to get a chance to talk to them to see if they'll cross over. But that's, that I can get into a whole nother topic about that, because we can't cross a spirit over. We can give them love, we can give them the understanding, but they still have free will as a spirit, so they have to cross themselves. And everyone goes, "Oh, I crossed this person over." I go, "No, you didn't. You really didn't. I mean, you might have helped them. You might have gave them that final thought that they say, finally, I see the light again. I'm going to go into it." But you didn't cross them. They did it on their own.
Yeah, I don't disrespect anybody, but when someone says in this industry says, "Well, I helped them go to the light," and I look right at them and says, "Where'd you get your flashlight?" I mean, right. It's like, I think they would know how to get there better than you, because they're there and we're here. So, I don't know how you're helping them go to the light. I mean, you could give them, you could receive messages for them to get to their loved ones here to make them feel more comfortable. But, now that's where we're a little bit different, because I feel like once we complete this part of the path and we go into the next part of the path, you've crossed over. You're there. And, I grew up in a church atmosphere, and it was called going to heaven. And I get a lot of people ask me, they say, "Well, aren't these people in heaven?" And it's like, yeah, they're in heaven. But I put it in, I don't use the word heaven, not to disrespect it. I just relate to them that I feel more comfortable calling a life continual, because that's what it is. It's a continual life. And the way to look at it is, those that we're talking with in the next part of life, it's like if you and I were in your house right now, and you were in your office and I was in your living room, we'd be in different rooms, but we'd be in the same house. It's just the same thing. We're in a different room than they are, but we're in the same life. And so, I feel like once you complete this path and you leave the physical body and you transit into the body and spirit, that you what they call crossover. My buddy John Edward came up with crossing over, so everybody says crossing over. So, but I
have a question on that then. So why do spirits? That's why I came up with the two different. That's why I call them ghosts, because once I have a spirit that crosses over and comes back to me of love, that's what I understand the other side is.
Absolutely.
But what if you come back and there's a guy that's bitchy, moaning, pissy, kind of being a jokester and all this crap, and trying to deceive you? That's why I don't think they've crossed all the way over.
I say kick them in the ass and get them going.
That's what I think so too. They need to be on the other side all the way over.
And what I feel is like you're talking those entities that I call a negative entity. Then there's negative energies in this earth, and they're here to, not for us to believe in the next part of life. They're here to make us feel like our life is terrible and crappy, and that's what they manifest on. And so with those individuals like that, I mean, I don't put up with them. If people ask me, they say, "What do you do when you go to these locations that are haunted with negative energies?" It's like, well, I take my Fantastic Four with me. The first is I go in with a positive attitude, because the positive overcomes negative every time. The second is I am in control. TV and everything else has made us feel like the negative energies are in control, that they're not. We're the ones in control. Exactly. The third is that I know that I have a creator more powerful than anything. And then the fourth is kind of a humorous statement, but it's true. I have family in the next part of life. You don't mess with their family. But I agree with you. There's energies here that appear to be bitchy and moany, and they try to manipulate us. But we don't have to put up with it. They're here for a reason. They're here. They're in the next part.
I call them ghosts.
Yeah,
I call them ghosts, because they're stuck in that earth emotion. They're stuck in greed. They're stuck in all that crap that we have here on earth that we don't need. So the reason here's my analogy. Okay, so everybody in the world sees us like this, right? So there's Rick Hayes, there's me, there's Jackie Mossberg Hicks, there's Devin. So we see all of us. We think we're all different. We're liking each other. But then when you really realize and you lift the veil, you notice that we're all connected.
Yeah.
We're all one. That's great. That's how I, Scotty, can read Rick Hayes, is because we're all connected.
That's great.
This is the oneness. This is us. And we didn't even know this guy was around, because he was so much, different. but he was there just as much, and he's just as connected to us. So if you think of the world like this, then everybody's connected. And then when we do something negative to this person's going to feel it. And then this person's going to feel it. So if you pound your hand in the door, everybody's going to feel it. See what I'm saying?
I love it.
So that's how people go, how do you read? Well, and how can you read like across a phone or internet? I said, it's the same thing as internet. Once you're connected, you got it. It's coming to you. Spirit's going to come to you once you're connected. But so that's the way I look at it, because I believe the other side is a oneness, a place of love. God is this, and I'm really big into science too, because, they said you're a medium and you like science. I said, yeah, I love science, because science and mediumship can't be different. It's got to be the same thing. So explain mediumship in science. It's got to be explained, and I think this is the best way to explain it, is that we are all part of God. So if this is God, that's how God can be everywhere, because he's a part of me. I'm attached to God.
I love it.
I can hear God. I can talk to God. I can talk to others. I can talk to my family or the ghosts or the spirits. He's down here. You don't normally see them in your daily life, but then there they are. See? Whoa. But
Scotty Rorek, you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. But
I love that.
But we're not talking. But see, the thing is, we're not talking that different. Our beliefs are different, but we're not talking that different.
No, we're not.
I had Dana Stricker on a few weeks ago, and we had the same thing. We were just like, things are just a little bit different for everybody. But
have you and I ever been in a location together and doing, when they was doing investigation?
I think we were in Post Town together.
Post Town, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we weren't teamed up because we're the psychic mediums. So
yeah, we never are. They seem to split us apart or something. We're like atoms. They split us.
Yeah. Rick Hayes over there, Scotty over there.
Are you going to Post Town this September? Is it September?
I don't know. I'm thinking so.
Okay.
I'm planning to. So we'll figure out, unless I have one that shows me body language.
We got to see each other somewhere along the way.
For a fact we'll be at Cincinnati, though.
Yeah, Victory of Light.
Victory of Light, yeah. Victor show.
Yeah, we won't see each other much then either.
No, but we can go out after. We can go out to dinner together.
Yeah.
We can have a good time there. But
and I do have to do a quick shout out real quick to my great team, Rick and Joni and Rhonda, and they're just incredible. They're they're there for me, and I want to say thank you again. I do this on a lot of shows, but thank you everyone. Thank you guys for putting up with me. So
yeah, that's cool. I'm glad you can shout out all you want. We're gonna when later you'll shout out your web pages and everything so everybody can see it. But that's the thing. A lot of times at events we don't get to ever spend time together. Because we're doing readings all day. You're doing readings. You're doing your lectures. I'm doing lectures. I'm doing match game. You're doing yours. And it just gets busy. I know that when I do Collingsworth Art Center at Jason Arthur's event in Toledo, I love it because he brings all the people that are going to do the event to his house the night before.
Oh, wow.
We all just sit out there all night, have dinner together, and just sit and talk and get to say hi to everybody, because we know the next day we're not going to see everyone. So yeah, it's always kind of neat. That's where I'm looking to build a retreat where we can have like a weekend event where we all get together and then we can spend time at dinner together.
I'm there.
Okay, good. I think it'll be great because it'll be like, just like the convention, and you get time to do private readings, but you'll get time to go on a walk together. You'll get a time to have dinner together. You get a time to have discussions as everybody, because there is no short time. It's not only like 8 hours. It's like 2.5 days where you just spend time together. I think we need more time together as spiritual creatures.
You'll have my M&Ms there, won't you?
I will. You're red.
All right.
Because I eat all the other colors.
Yeah. I was thinking about if we've done locations together. I forgot about Post Town, but you're right. I guess when we are together, we kind of have to be apart. And I don't know about you, but I'll hear like you'll be in one area. I remember this in Post Town, using one area and I was in another area. And when I went to the area you were in, I had individuals tell me, they said, well, that's what Scotty got. And it's like, and you wonder, and you know why? Because it's here, so that's why I got it. So
do you know Tim Shaw?
Yes.
Okay. So
he don't let him hug you. He'll take the breath out of you.
I know he'll kill you.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's another psychic medium that Rick and I know really well. And so Tim and I were doing, we were out in Gettysburg together, and we were doing one of the, it's now a hotel, but it was one of the generals, like lands or something. That's a hotel now. And we were there, and we were in one room, and man, the activity was just off the freaking wall when I was in there. And then we were talking about that, and then we were helping that spirit in there so much that the spirit came with us. And when Tim went in there, nothing happened. He came up cursing. He goes, "What did you do to that room?" We had curtains moving, doors opening, lights turning on. I mean, it was going off the wall, and it was all filmed. Everybody got it all. It was just like this. Tim walks in there, it's like, he was so mad at me. Like, what did you do to this place?
What do you think? I've been to Gettysburg 3 times now. I don't know about you, but I would get within 10 miles of the place, and I started feeling. Again, they don't go in my body, but I started feeling the dread. I started feeling the fear. I started feeling the nausea. And then when you actually get on the battlefield and actually see, it's kind of like a reenactment. And
it is a reenactment. That's a good way to put it.
And people ask me, they say, do you see them actually get killed? It's funny for me because it's almost like the moment they get shot, I don't see it.
Right. Me too.
I agree with you. It's like they weren't scared.
Like I saw them marching. I saw them on the hill. I saw the other one coming up, and I knew they were going to go. And as they were going up, then they went away. So I don't see the blood again. I just don't see that. And there's no need for it. You already know what happened.
Exactly.
But I did the same thing when I went to New York, though. I felt that same way when I got where the towers were. I felt exactly the same. So, and that's what I call residual energy, because you go in there, you got that, it's just stuck there in the world, and it's not going to go away because you had so many people lose their lives in these places that, and like George Floyd, I think that part of Minneapolis will always have that negative feeling to it now. You know what I mean? It will always be that, and it just, it's just those times that are caught, that energy that's caught in time. But anyway, back to my question on that. I like helping teams. I like doing that. And I don't, that's why we're even on Shadow Hunters tonight on their group page, because they're out of Illinois here, Northern Illinois. I'm in Wisconsin, but I love their team, and I work with them, and we do the shows here on their page. But it's about, and I work with Tim Miley's team out of Oshkosh, and Charles Bruss's team out of Milwaukee. But I'm not, I'm a part of all their teams, but I'm a freelancer too. I like to help people, but I always say that any paranormal group should have a medium, because my point to them is it's one thing to go in and tell people they have ghosts in their house. Oh yeah, we recorded this, we got this EVP, but you don't know what the EVP really said. You don't know who it was. You could tell them a ghost, but they already knew it because that's why they called you. But who is that ghost? What is their message, and why are they still there? And that's what the medium will help you do.
Absolutely. I agree with you totally. I enjoy working with the investigation groups. In fact, I want to put a shout out to those teams tonight that you really helped us evolve in this industry as well, and bringing the validations to those skeptics, and with your electronic equipment. But I learned so much from them when I'm working with them, and they'll say to me, we learned from so much from you. No, I learned a lot from you, and like you just said, it's really great teamwork, because by utilizing their scientific, electronic, technical equipment, given validations where you can see it and touch it, it gives us validations for those of us who are using the inner tools, that is sharing with us the messages we are to give. And I know this has happened where, Waverly is one place I think of as we're talking. I went to a room and I said, the lady came in here and they came in there and their meters and everything started going off, and all of a sudden they stopped. Right when they stopped, I said, she went in the next room, she's avoiding us. Well, I could have said that, but there was nothing really concrete to show that. But having that equipment there was a validation of what I was sharing. And I think, I agree with you. I think if you're a paranormal investigation team, you are going to be analytical. You're going to be looking at the scientific, which I think is great. We need that in this industry. We need open-minded scientific analysis. But I really feel if you don't, I'm like you, if you have an investigation team, you want to expand it, you want to and evolve it even more, have a medium on your team as well, and work together. Don't let one. I've got two rabbits looking at me out my patio, right outside my patio door. I have no clue why. I don't know. Is your loved ones here to see me, Scotty, or what?
They are.
I just looked over here and I actually got two real rabbits there, looking right at me. So
that's so cool. I love it.
We got an audience here tonight, Scotty.
Okay. But that's the other thing that I wanted to say on that is I think that every paranormal team should not try to debunk or try not to prove. Everybody should go in and experience and then make your decision up from there.
Absolutely.
If you go in one way, then you're going to forget stuff, or you go in the other way, you're going to make stuff up. And I think I never go into a place. Well, I mean, I knew Waverly Hills before I went in. You know what I mean? But I mean, even Christopher and Philip, the booths, when I did Children of the Grave 2, they just told me to be in Cincinnati on Tuesday to film.
Yeah.
I mean, they told me to be in Ohio on Tuesday, not anywhere. I said, where in Ohio? They said, just be in Ohio. I'm like, what? Because, where we filmed in Bangs, Ohio, it was almost 3 hours from anywhere. So you could have been anywhere and you would have been fine. But yeah, they didn't tell me anything about it. They kept it quiet until I drove up and Christopher put the mic on me, Philip put the camera on my face, and there's Children of the Grave 2 starting right there. They go, tell us about that building. And you've been in the movies too. And I think that's so great. I mean, the more people that go in with less knowledge and then one person going with all the knowledge, that way they can validate then what we say.
And you made a great point there. And Chris and Phil are great. They're great to work with. I mean, they respect us. Yeah. And I did the same thing when they asked me to do one of their films. I said, don't tell me about the location. I don't want to know anything about it. I want to go in there and listen to those who know and will share with me. But that's one that I've turned down. I've actually turned down television shows because when we begin talking and they say, well, we want you to be this way on the, because you got to sell the ratings. We want you to be this way on the show, or we want you to be, it's like, no, you've got to take me who I am. Otherwise, I'm not going to be interested, because I understand you got to have some script for a show, but I'm not going to be one of those that, I'm sorry, but there's some on shows right now that there's individuals on there that it's like you can totally tell they're being scripted, and it's like, I will not do that. I just won't do that. And when you said that, I thought, there we go. There's a similarity, Scotty, because we're going to be who we are. We're not going to be someone different.
Yep. I got cut out of a show. They came to me. They
filmed it?
They came to me. They asked me about my cases. I gave them a case. We went in and we filmed it, and they cut me out because in filming, I said to him, I said, because everything I said was wrong. And I said to him finally, I said, why don't you give me a damn script and I'll read it. So they cut out every piece of me out of everything. They didn't even have a medium come in, and they gave it to somebody.
You didn't get a credit at the end?
Nothing.
Oh, wow.
Completely written out.
Okay. Let me make a note on that, because I'm taking notes on what Scotty has experienced and I haven't yet. So let me make a note on that. Yeah. I need to be cut out of a film.
Yep.
Of a show.
Completely on the cutting room floor. Everything. So everything I said, everything I did, they gave it to somebody else in the paranormal team or somebody else out of the family members. They said, "Oh, that person said that. This person said that." And it was just like, I was like, ah.
And normally that would be an ego burst for someone, but I know you, and it's like, oh well, it's meant to be, So
and what's funny is I still give those homeowners that we helped the case. I still give them reads. I still bring them through. So I'm still, friends and family with everybody, And so it's like, I know the real reason that I went there, and it wasn't for the TV show; it was for that.
Did the show actually air?
The show actually aired.
It did.
Yeah. And Tim Miley, great thing for Tim Miley. He got his face on it, and me out. So that was all right. But I was happy for Tim. And I was happy for the story of the spirit that we did, because his name was Chris, and he really needed, this to kind of build him back up.
Yeah.
He got murdered by a step or a foster parent.
By the way, you mentioned Tim. I want to say a shout out to Tim. So he's a super cool guy too. So
he's a dear friend, and he's doing great work with the paranormal and his pooches and making money for animal shelters all over.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's doing great with the animal shelters.
Yeah, going back to the beginning of the show the biggest thing that I've liked the most is, first of all, how many people I've been able to help, and actually have been able to live a little bit better life because they've been able to talk to spirit. Yeah. And then my second one is about the friends that I've created. If I wasn't doing this, you and I wouldn't be friends. And to me, that would be very sad.
I would have found you somehow.
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that those two things in itself is the why I do it. And you were talking about, somebody says, "Are you going to retire?" I actually always wanted to do what I'm doing today after I retired, because I would have had enough money. I've been trying to put away the money so that I could do mediumship full time. And then the world changed and I lost my job. And then it was like, okay, so I was going to do this in 10 years from now. So the universe kind of said to me, goes, "Duh, Scotty, do it now." And so I said, okay, I'm listening. So that's the cool thing, that spirit is around us all day, every day, but we have to listen.
Yes, and I recall when we saw each other, I think last, and you were telling me this your situation and where you were at in the crossroads, and I remember I was being pulled to give you motivation and tell you this is the time, this is your to do it, and you're going to do well, and just have you need to do it. And
I remember you saying that to me, and I was just like,
and when you told me before the show that you're now full time, it's like, yes, but yeah, and again, I talk about this. When you're on your path of purpose, you're in the right direction. When everything is falling into place, signs are opening up for you to give you direction on the path you're to go, and everything is just feels right. When you get up in the morning, you're excited about the day that you've got ahead, and you can't wait to get started, and you enjoy life. And before you do that, for me, when I get up in the mornings, I teach this. I think of 3 blessings that I have in my life, and then I give thank you for the day. And then I come downstairs, grab my coffee, and I either go to my recliner, or I go to my patio outside on the patio, and I just sit there and I just reflect, and I just listen to the silence and listen to what I'm getting. And with a job, and I call it, and I've said this for 20 years, I'm so happy to be out of the corporate world. You can't believe it, because I was in it for a lot of years. And
everybody sees my corporate. This was what my desk used to look like, other than the brick fireplace. But this is all the decorations I had, everything. And I brought it here. And I brought what I liked about my desk and about my life, and I got my pictures of my family. But
Can I ask you though? Can I ask you what's behind you? It says something about angry teeth, and I keep seeing that. And
oh, that's my old company, and I helped them open. That's Angry Beaver's Teeth. So
okay.
you can figure out what company that is now.
I've never met angry teeth before. I've met angry people, but I've never met angry teeth.
But that's the funny thing, and that's another big point is the company I worked for in the corporate world wouldn't let me tell people that I worked for them. They never wanted me to be a part of it. So that's
Well, that
why
really made you feel like a part of the team, didn't it?
right. They told me to shut up and don't say anything about your spiritual life at work. Even though everybody at work figured it out and then came up to me and wanted readings and stuff like that, but I couldn't do it, out. I was, just like, if somebody played baseball, it would be like, you can't talk about your baseball team at work. That's basically what it was. It was kind of really crappy. And somebody says, why aren't you bigger in Wisconsin? Why aren't you doing more stuff in Wisconsin? And because that's where I am. And I said, because my company won't let me. And now I'm doing a ton of stuff in Wisconsin. And because
do what you want to do.
I'm doing what I want to
do. Yes.
Yeah.
And I had a similar situation where I was working for a company and I didn't want to share my abilities. And this is really where I got the message that it was time to go in this as my path of purpose, because I reported directly to the owners in this company, and I would meet with one of the owners every morning. We'd get a cup of coffee. We'd go over the business for the day. And that day I walked into her office and she was sitting there just crying. And so I sat down and she was on the phone. She hung up the phone and she began telling me that she just got off the phone with her husband and their dearest friend was rushed to the hospital. He's been battling cancer and he's rushed into the hospital and they didn't think he was going to make it. And as she was telling me this, and keep in mind, she's my boss. And I've never said anything about my abilities. And while she's saying all this, I've got a guy next to me in spirit and he's saying, tell her. And I keep saying, no. And he kept saying, tell her. And I kept saying, no, I don't want to get fired.
Right.
And he said, tell her. So finally I said to her, I shared with her who was standing next to me. I started describing him with red suspenders, always had a cigar on the side of his mouth. And she said, well, this is my friend's dad. She said, but how you know this? Because he is, quote, no longer with us. And I said, well, yes, he is. And so so I began telling her, I said, you may fire me, but I got to tell you. So I began sharing with her and I said, he's telling me there's something about the 8th of the month. And I said, he's telling me that his son will be home and is with his family. And when I said that, she said, there's no way he's going to be with the family. He's not even going to hardly make it to the hospital. Well, that was on a Thursday. And on Monday, she came into my office and I'll never forget it. It's like yesterday. She came in and I stood up from my desk and she came over and gave me a hug, just a tremendous hug. And then after hugging me, Scotty, she kind of pushed me a little bit. And she said, why are you being so selfish? And I said, what? And she said, you could be helping others. And she said, I wanted to let you know that our dear friend, I call it transcended. I don't use the word death or dead, but she said, our best friend transcended Friday, said he wanted to be home. They got him in the ambulance. They got him home. And she said, and he transcended on the 8th of the month on that Friday. And she said, you could be helping so many people. She said, what are you doing here? And I went home that night. I cried. I prayed. I asked my loved ones in spirit, what should I do? And I kept being told, this is time. It is time. It is time. So I decided at that time, I thought I got to begin my path and begin my journey. And so sometimes we get things like that. Just like I saw you there that day. I was one of the messengers for you. I really feel that. I really feel like I came to you at that time, at that moment, at that place to tell you the time is now and this is what you should do. So when you get really, really famous, you remember me, Scotty. Okay. So, but yeah, I love sharing that experience for me, because if that hadn't happened at that time, I don't know what I would have. I think I would have continued working because I enjoyed working for them. But I just, and you may have felt the same way. Every day when I went to work at a place, when I went to my place of employment, I went to work. I didn't look forward to it. I enjoyed what I did.
Right.
I didn't enjoy. I just felt like something wasn't right, and I felt that way for many, many years. And it took something like that to say, this is the time is now. And once it got going, I've shared this with Rhonda. I remember a couple years after I started in the business as my path, I told her, I said, why didn't I start this when I was younger, like 20, 30 years ago? And she gave me a great answer. She said, because the time wasn't right.
Right.
And I thought, you're right. The time was right now. And just like with you, time's right now. And that's with your students and everything that I'm going to suggest. You'll know when you'll get told when the time is right. And they'll tell you how you're going to do it, either full time or if you're going to do it to help others as a, just a couple of days a week, or you might be doing something completely different in this industry, but you'll be guided. You'll be told how to do it.
I mean, and that's it's done because like my students, like Devin's in here in the chat room, and she's like posted in here that she was in corporate 20 years just like you, and she came out as a tarot reader, but nobody questioned her. They're like, of course you are. So a lot of people have the same things as us, but then I look at it too. Why didn't I do it a while ago when I first started doing readings? And a lot of it was I wasn't ready. I wasn't as humble of a man as I am now, and I wasn't as egoless as I am now. And I'm doing it for the right reasons, and my readings have gotten better. And so it is the timing. And when you said it last year, I was like, okay, so it's happening faster than I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, I was like, okay, so that means it what it is. And then even after that, I still questioned for a month or two before I got going. And then I said, okay, what the hell, let's do it.
And the biggest part for me was building my confidence, because all my life I had these abilities, and it broke my confidence a little bit because I knew what I had and I couldn't share them. And I felt like I shared with everyone. I took a year of psychology in college, and it wasn't from anything to do with my career. I wanted to find out if there was something wrong with me. And so that's why I took it. And my confidence was lower. So that's another thing, that if you're going to do this, you got to work on building your confidence. And I call it a humble confidence. You don't want to get a confidence where you feel like you're better than everyone else. You want to maintain and create a humble confidence within yourself.
And that's what I've always taken from you, because you've been the one person that's always been that. You've always allowed, you've always given me advice. You've always been there when I've needed it, and that's, and I will never forget that. So,
well, you've been there for me too, in ways you don't know, but you have. And one of the ways is, Scotty, when I'm around you, and first of all, your energy is incredible. And the other thing is, when I see you around at these events, you bring an energy to people that comes around you that's just, when they walk away from you, it's like they're taking it with them. And you change their life just by saying hi and giving them a smile and a hug. But it's because of your energy. So I've watched you do that. It's helped me learn too, as far as knowing what your energy really is.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Have we built up each other enough now, or should we go on? Or?
I think now we start bashing each other.
Everyone say, boy, these are brothers. They do love each other.
If we were true brothers, we'd be slapping each other across
the
Yeah. That's why we slap Keith H. He's the ugly brother.
Yeah. And Keith, hi, how you doing, buddy? We'll see you in a few months.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm super happy to be a part of this. I'm happy to have the students I have, and you could just see it. It's been an amazing transition, and I'm very happy to be where I am.
So do you have, in regards to your class, is your class like a 12-week class, a one class?
It's a 6-week.
6-week class, okay.
Yeah, but most of them go a lot longer.
Okay.
Because then we go into the advanced classes, which then we get into nitty gritty. But my classes are about, it's very different, and I got to thank everybody that's taken them, because it's helped me change my class too. It's helped me, define it better.
Mhm.
But I work on the individual. I don't just go in, this is how you listen to spirit, this is negative energies. I work on each individual person individually. We get down to the nitty gritty of what makes them special, and we have to get them to understand that and know that.
Well,
So Jackie says here real quick, I agree, Rick. Scotty makes me feel like an amazing person every time I meet him, and you have as well. So Jackie Mossberg Hicks.
thank you, Jackie. You're absolutely right. I totally agree.
But she does the same thing for us. She's an amazing lady.
Yep. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you is, I do what's called advisement consultations, and those are individuals similar to your class that are recognizing their abilities. They're a little afraid of it. They don't know how to make it a part of their life. So, and I do just one-on-one consultations for that. Now, one of the things I've noticed in the last few years, and you may have seen this too, it's incredible the amount of growth that we see in what I call the future generation, from those 12, 13 up to 18, 19, 20, 21. I mean, They are really recognizing their abilities, and they're really wanting to learn and know. And I have seen a great growth in that in the last few years. Have you?
Oh my God, yes, amazing. Yeah. But I'm starting to see it with everyone, though. That's the coolest thing. Back in the old days, it was about, who am I dating today? Now it's about, I feel this. Why am I feeling this?
Yeah.
It's gotten. They're changing because people are understanding their gifts. And we talked about that earlier with this movement and stuff. And I think that's where the oneness is coming. We're going to start getting that higher levels. And in my what I call advanced classes, they're more, how do I help you build your brand? How do I help you find Facebook? How do I help you find advertisement? How do you give readings? How do you not go onto Facebook and give everybody free readings all day when you're trying to make money? When this is your sole set of income, how do you do that? Where's that fine line between advisement and readings? And so that's so as students grow, that's the advanced classes. And we do that one-on-one, right. And I help them too, trying to figure out how to put their business together, because I think that's the one thing I see the hardest thing for any medium is the lack of business that they don't know. And you and I were in that world. We were in business. I ran multi-million-dollar companies. And so I know how to run a company. So let me help you run your business, and let me help you run you as a company. And most people don't think that. They don't think that they're a company.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure that out too. It took me to figure out that I'm a brand, and I have to watch, as a brand, I have to watch what I say, what I do. I have to stand up for what the brand stands up for.
Yes. And again, I feel like everything you've experienced in your life in some way is giving you that experience so that you could learn from that for the future. And my corporate background was in marketing, so I have a lot of marketing background, which has been a big benefit for me in the business we have. My company's called Life's Gift, and I still utilize a lot of my marketing. I'm not as tech savvy, so I got a guy that takes care of that, but I know marketing, so I utilize that.
Who does it? Give him credit. Give your tech guy credit.
Scott. His name is Scott, not Scotty. Scott. Even though I call him Scotty sometimes, his name is Scott, and he's been with me since day one. And he keeps telling me he's going to retire, and I said, no, you're not. He tried this year. I said, no, not yet. So, and again, it goes back to, if you're going to do this as a path, I'll just share this with you. I really struggled with having rates for what I do. And for the first 2.5, almost 3 years, I did not charge. And I lived off my savings. I lived off my, I was going to people's houses and I was living on, and I tell everybody I was eating rice and beans because my savings and my retirement is kind of like depleting. So, but I had a business advisor tell me this. He said, "Do you go to the doctor?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "And why do you go to the doctor?" And I said, "Because he can take care of me." And then he said, "Does he charge you?" And I said, "An arm and a leg." And he goes, "Why does he charge you?" And I said, "Because he's given me a service." And he said, "Isn't that what you're doing for them?" And he said, "You need to consider that." So, I'll tell you what we did is I really struggled still with charging. And there's skeptics in this industry that always likes to say, "Oh, they should, if they had these abilities and they're helping people, they shouldn't be charging." Well, I always say, how long can you live without your job?
Right.
So,
but remember, okay, do you remember we had this conversation at an event that I was actually charging more than you? You remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the event that day?
Yeah.
It was somewhere in Indiana. We were doing a show. It was the day I drove the tractor around.
Yep. Oh yeah.
That video is still out there somewhere. I was being Eddie Arnold from Green Acres. I was in my sports coat driving the tractor. We had that discussion, but you're the one that made me continue with my rate, and I'm still the same rate. And it's been what I am all along. It's because that's what I charge. You know what I mean? That's, we made it that way, and I was busy, and it's also a perceived value too. If you rate yourself too low, then they think you're a beginner. They rate yourself too high, then you've gotten out of the realm. I understand it, and that's the toughest part is the charging. But then I'm okay with it now because I know that I bring a value. I know that I am trusting spirit, and I listen, and I don't translate the messages because, like I said, now I let it come through. So I'm not even thinking. I'm not even putting my own spin anymore onto it, and I'm just letting it go. And that's why it's a lot more direct. That's why it's a lot quicker. But you get the message out stronger, I think, that way.
Absolutely. And the other thing I did was at that time we actually researched 251. I'll never forget the number, 251 psychic mediums in this industry, from the low end all the way up to Sylvia Brown, John Edward, those individuals that are charging, what their value is. And so, and we found the happy medium. And so from that, we incorporated the rates, and Scotty Rorek.
The happy medium.
Happy medium, there you go. And I've become comfortable with it because of what was said. And that's the key. No matter what my rates is, I always do my very best to give you more than what the rate is, because that's what we are to do. We are to give you everything we possibly can for that time with you, and to give the messages that we can. So and the other thing I did was, I don't pay much attention. I run a business, so you got to watch the finances, but I'll just tell you, Scotty, I don't pay much attention to I kind of got help with that as well, because I told him, and I was talking to you about the service I had as far as scheduling and everything. Yeah. I told him, I said, I don't want to be worrying about the monies. I don't want to be worrying about, how much they owe and how much they're paying and all that. All I'm going to focus on is the messages for them. That's what I'm going to focus on. So that's another thing we incorporated in the last 20 years. And it's kind of given me, I have the responsibility of running a business, but at the same time, it's given me even more, because let's face it, and we talked about this earlier, if you're getting in this for the money, you're getting in it for the wrong reasons. Correct. And, there are a few of those that, like John Edward, who has 4 or 5 different homes and, done very well for himself. And I love the guy, but, for even with him, he'll tell you that he says he don't pay attention to the money. You don't pay attention to finances, because again, if you're doing that, and for your students, if you're doing this with focus on income and focus on celebrity status, things like, you're going to fail, you know.
And I had the biggest compliment from one of my new students who actually left the teacher to come to me instead, you know. But she said to me, she goes, your first class, you had it like marked for a half hour for this price. And then she said, you talked to me almost an hour and a half. and she goes, and then I realized that that's how long we talked, but you didn't ask me for more money. And she goes, I knew then the real you. She goes, because it's about me and exactly what you're telling me about. And it's not about the money all the time. Yes, I have to pay my bills now. Yes, you have to do that. But that's not what it is. If the message is not through yet, we have to hit it home.
And my sessions are actually, in-person sessions are actually scheduled for 2 hours. And, you know, which is kind of, but I knew I couldn't go an hour. I knew I couldn't go a half hour. I just can't. You can ask Joni, my assistant Joni, she'll tell you when we go to these things, we go to groups, we go to group sessions. They're supposed to be 2.5 hours. She's always back there going, you know, because she's done the timing for me, because otherwise I'd go all day. And she's back there going like this, but and you're right. There's been a lot of times that went over 2 hours, and the individuals asked that. You know this, when we're doing this, we had no track of time. We had no understanding, you know.
I don't have any. I just keep going unless
well, yeah, and I don't know about, and I know you feel the same way, but I mean, we get done, it's like 2 hours. I feel like I've been going like 10 minutes.
Right, know? Exactly. So
it's,
I do those gallery readings for Body Labs, and I know that there's a reader in an hour and a half. So then they come into the door and they go, they go, oh crap! All right, it's time to go wrap up. but I feel bad, you know, and I feel bad if there's a gallery, you know, a small enough gallery, because I've done 300 people galleries, and I can't read everybody even in 3 hours we have. But you know, in the smaller galleries that I do there, you know, there's 25 people. I want to try to get everybody in that hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, give them a little message, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to get to everybody. I'm trying to go around the room. I'm trying to, you know, help everybody that came and paid, you know? So yeah, it's just one of those things, and you don't know the time, and all of a sudden you're like, holy crap. It's like knocking on the door. Scotty, got to get out. The speaker's coming in.
We're serving breakfast in an hour. Are you staying?
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Bring it in. Coffee for everybody.
Yeah, it's just an incredible life, and you know, it's not. I think I posted when you're doing what we're doing, you're going to have people ask me this too. I have a good friend that he lives in Louisville, Kentucky, and every time I'm over there, he'll come up to me and he says, I always feel very positive. You're always a positive person. It's like 99.9% I am, but I'm still in this physical body. There's days that I just grit my teeth and I go and scream in my room, you know, because it's like but I make that temporary. And that's the other thing I share is when you feel that way, please make it temporary, because if you keep continuing on with it on, you've got something going in front of you. I just saw someone just like walk by you.
You just saw Steve.
I guess because my rabbits are gone, and now I'm seeing you something on your screen. What's going on tonight? So
it's a good night for both of us. But you know, I tell my students, I tell them, I said, you know, you need to set up how you feel for the day, you know, because a lot of our students are empaths, so they take on other emotions. So, but like,
are you an empath, Scotty?
I am.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, and my biggest thing is I have severe arthritis, you know, and you know, you see me walk with my cane at times where I can barely walk. And you know, you were there too when my neck collapsed, remember that? And
yes.
That was 2 years ago in Mid-South. And but so there's beings in the day where I have to realize that this is my body being this way and not other emotions. So I have to set my level, you know, I have to go, okay, that's my level for the day. And if anything changes in one way or the other, then it's my empath coming in, you know. But but even I get depressed. I get depressed, and some nights I have just shitty nights. I mean, but I'm never going to have it on the camera. I'm never going to have it with a student. I'm never going to have it in a reading, because if I do, then I'll cancel. If I feel like I can't do it, then I'm going to cancel, but I'm never going to cancel because I can't. I got to be there for you to help you get your message. There's an important reason why this spirit's coming in. There's an important reason why you're coming to me. There's an important reason why we have class today. It's because this, you know what I mean? And so I always have to remember that and put that away. And maybe after that, I go take a nap, and I'm done. I just, after my classes are done, then I'm done. And then I take that moment to be by myself. But it's a sense of duty. It's a sense of love that I just have for everybody, and you have to continue that. You just always have to be of love. And
it doesn't even have to be with being a psychic medium or your spiritual abilities. I share this in life coaching. If you have a passion, I call them inner pulls. If you're being inner pulled into a direction in a career and you have that passion for it, follow that direction, because it is your purpose. So sometimes our purpose in life is to be a personal trainer. I had someone today that's finishing college and he's going to be a personal trainer, and it's his path. And then I have, your path may just be a great mom and a homemaker, and that is a great purpose to have. So,
but exactly what you're talking about. People have their psychic abilities will be there to help their families.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily you're going to be a reader, but maybe you could be a great boss.
Yes.
Because you can put people together and you can treat them well. And you understand when they're having, you know what I mean? That's exactly, that's so accurate.
Yes, because you might find that you might be a great boss with these abilities. You'll be able to lead. You'll be able to give the right direction by listening to your own abilities within yourself. So, yes, I totally agree with that.
By the way, you weren't the only one that saw the shadow.
Really? Someone else saw it?
Yep, Jackie did.
Okay, all right.
And she said she thought it was Terry, but it's just so everybody knows, I could turn the camera. Terry's not even home. She left.
Okay.
She had to go to work. So I'm in the house by myself in this part of the room. So the shadow you saw is a spirit shadow.
I was just going to tell you, you're going to have this spirit wants camera time too, so you're going to have to give it. It can't be all you, Scotty.
That's too funny. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jackie, for all the comments you're putting in there. You'll have to read these comments after then, Rick.
Okay.
A lot of people have a lot of great comments about you and me. So I want to thank everybody, for putting those in tonight.
And again, we thank you for being here with us tonight, taking your evening to be with us. And I knew this was going to be fun. I knew we was going to have a lot of fun, enjoying. When I got your contact yesterday, it's like, well, hell yeah, I'll be here. So
I'll have to do this again, because this will be great. One night I want to bring as many mediums that I know, and all of us be together and just have a fun night.
Oh, wow, you're going to go,
blow the world up. Why don't you give all your websites and where they can get a hold of you, and we'll go from there, and I'll give all mine next.
Well, I'm here on Facebook. I've got, just go Rick, search Rick Hayes, and probably Psychic Medium will jump in on with it. But I've got a personal page that I share something positive each day on there, and in a story. And then I got a fan page as well that I talk more about my thoughts and instructions on paranormal and in the spirituality of things. My website is lifesgift.com. That is life, LIF, as in Frank, ESGIFT.com. And I Twitter. I don't know all about it, but I Twitter, I Instagram, I do all these social media things. It's like, I don't know what they are, but they just tell me to put something on there. So that's what I do. So, but, and then, just like with you, we'll be traveling around here soon in the fall. I think we're beginning in, I got a what we call a connections event in Merrillville, Indiana, up right by Crown Point.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing a I've started the program, life coaching program called Believe to Be a Better You. And we're going to do a workshop there that morning, 4 hours. It's power packed, and I'm really excited about it. And then we'll do a gallery that evening. So, and then from there, we've got, I think, something at least, I think we're going about every weekend somewhere after that. So until the end of November, I do not travel in December, January, February. So if I do, it's going south.
Well, let's do something then. Let's plan something for you and I during those months, because those are my slower months too.
Okay.
Let's plan something somewhere in the middle of the country.
Okay.
Where we can get there, because we won't come north because we have too much snow at that time of year.
So it won't be Sedona, Arizona. Okay.
I don't even care if we do Atlanta or Florida, or even Kentucky. Nashville would probably be a good time at that time of year. So
Yeah.
so everybody prepare. Watch for Rick and I this year to be together.
Yeah, we're going to do
Say it
something.
all the time, but we never do it. But now I have time. Now I can set my schedule. Now I don't have to worry about vacations, or I just set my schedule the way it needs to be, and we'll make it happen. So
Yeah, and I want to say this too, real quick. And this is for you too, Scotty. And one of the key things when you're doing this as your path and your purpose, and it starts really getting crazy and really getting busy, you've got to find me time. You got to find that. And I share this with business owners, other business owners. You got to have a half day, not just an hour, but you need a half day or a full day just for you. And you're going to feel at the beginning, you're going to feel like, well, but if I do it, will it hurt the business because I'm not there? Will it affect me? You're going to find you're going to be even better by taking that time for you. So that's another thing I want to share with everyone. If you're going to get in this industry and it starts really taking off, never forget your time for you. Take that time for yourself as well.
that's amazing. It's a good point. I didn't think about that. So you do.
Yeah, see the wrinkles in the bags of my eyes. It's from
I'm doing pretty good. By the way, I'm at Scotty Rorek Psychic Medium on Facebook business page. Scotty Rorek. I got 2 Facebook pages. I got Instagram, Scotty Rorek, ScottyRorek.com. Scotty Rorek everything. Just look it up. There's like 60 pages on Google.
There's only one Scotty Rorek.
And that's the thing. I am the only one in the world. There is nobody else with that name. I mean, that's what my wife Terry likes, because she's the only Terry Rorek in the world.
They Google me and they get a fiddle player, they get a musician, they get a rep, they get a preacher, Rick Hayes.
There's only one me, so that's the nice thing about having a pretty unique name in the world. If anyone has the last name of Rorek, they're related to me. That's it. That's all that we have. So it's kind of cool. All right. So thank everybody for coming. Next week, it looks like, and we're going to announce this. So next week's show, one of Rick's and I's friends, Chris Fleming, is coming on. Next week he'll be on here, and then in 2 weeks is going to be the Paranormal Match game right here on the same channel, same place. And it's going to be fun. I got some great questions going to happen. We're going to have a great time that night. It's going to be funny and just jokes everywhere. So before that, if you don't know what Match Game is, watch the 70s version, not the one now, because the 70s was way funnier with Charles Nelson Riley and Brett Summers and that guy from Hogan's Heroes and Family Feud, Richard Dawson.
Richard Dawson.
Yeah, he was on there all the time. So it was great. But thanks, everybody. Rick, don't go away. We're going to get off of Facebook here, and we will be see you guys next week. I love you all. Thank you, Rick, for everything. I love you, man.
Love you. Believe.